This is a commission hoodie. It was made for someone. His name is Bryce. He's a friend of mine. You should check him out. He makes dope music. If you see this, if you like and subscribe, it would mean a lot to me. Thank you. I do appreciate it. And this is my first time cutting it out using this kind of woven fabric. I've never used tapestry before with this, thing. So it was an experience to try out this completely different fabric from this garment that I've never used before. It was, I don't know how to explain it. Like, when you're using different things and different fabrics and different concepts, it always feels that way, So like, well, how is this gonna work? How is that gonna work? But then it's like, oh well, my pattern maker did it right, and I told her that I'm using it for woven and knit, so like she put that into the pattern, but like still like it's kind of nerve-wracking in a sense, because like, is this actually gonna work? How is this gonna work? What's gonna work? How is this gonna happen? And that's what this is, like, out and doesn't fit, and it is properly sized and all that. But like when you're working with something because you've never done it before, you're always like thinking to yourself, well, but then it works out anyways, because you hire the right people to do the right things. Anyways, yes, thank you. This is when I still use a standard. I don't use a standard pocket anymore. I design my own unique pocket, kangaroo pocket, for every single garment I make now. So yeah, so this is like the old way I used to do it, and I stuck with it because I was so used to it. But now I don't do it this way anymore, and it just looks completely different now every single time. So I guess you get to see the old way, which is kind of crazy and intense. So the first blanket isn't AI generated, it's like original art. This blanket is AI generated, yet people are controversial AI, but yes, I do mess with AI a lot, and I don't paint or draw or anything, so, having AI butterflies like art was actually kind of dope and cool, and also the client didn't get mad, so, just accept it for what it is. Sewing this whole thing together was not necessarily nerve-wracking. It was just what are the steps to properly secure all the fabric? And that's what you see here. You see me do all the steps, serge it, and eventually serge. I don't know if I'm serging it here or not, or any of the next scene or not. I'm not really paying attention to that, but I'm just really talking. But yeah, that's the thing. There's things that are just this constant. Oh, I am serging. Okay, so I had to serge everything. Make sure it doesn't fray away, because it's tapestry. That's the thing about tapestry. To always make sure that it's a certain way, to make sure that it's properly. Otherwise, I'm just kind of well, what am I doing, and what is this and that? So that was kind of a fun thing that I had to learn and figure out. And yeah, I get to see that in real time here, making it this whole garment. sleeves are always nerve-wracking because they have to always center them properly, right? Because like there's notches, but this fabric, I don't know, I really don't want to clip in the notches, so I have to do it with the old-fashioned way and the needle and make sure it's in the middle. I mean, I can eyeball it, but I don't even trust that. So like, that's the thing. Like, you have to make sure everything's right, everything's centered, everything looks like this, everything's perfect. To make sure the pattern's perfect. And luckily, I don't have to do the pattern. I didn't do the pattern here. I'm not the biggest fan of traditional pattern making. I prefer more of the software side of it when I do it because I just don't want error, and like I just know that the software will fix the problems that I don't like to do. I don't like to spend 40 minutes adding seam allowance. I'm sorry. I know some of you love doing that, but that's not me. Okay, so that's fine. But anyways, yeah, that's like the thing. That's like exactly what this is, right? That's just it. Just like me making sure making sure everything is just fitted and correct and stuff like that. And there's always do stuff like that. So yes, like sewing on the sleeves right here, like an experience after I pinned them, like just messing with this fabric and doing it this way. So like in my original sample was never muslin, it was just actually wear it. It was actually just knit fabrics, old hoodies that I had sewn together. So going from that to like this whole different concept of things and changing it was like a completely different feeling in a sense because it just wasn't the same way, right? It was just complete opposite of like what I was normally used to versus like this sense of like I have to do this now, this is the thing I have to. It's changed and it's different and it's not the same as it was. So yeah, so like that's the whole process you're seeing here. It's like this constant I don't know what I'm doing but I eventually figured out what I'm doing. This is my first time doing it. I have another one where I did it the second time and I understood it better, but it's like there's like the things that happen when you're doing it for the first time in a certain way. Do the first time, but just a different fabric. Fabric's different for every single time you surging it was in a sense nerve-wracking because it's all like, oh well, how do I properly do this to make sure that I don't remove too much fabric, because then I have to sew the side seams together with the armhole, and then like you have to put that into the count, and then you have to make sure you don't serge too much because then you have the extra fabric there to make sure you can serge everything together so you don't use all the seam allowance. Yeah, it's kind of difficult at times. I don't think I understand what I have to go through sometimes, but that's okay. People are just gonna be that way. But anyways, yeah, those are the things that I have to think about when I'm doing these things. And it may seem like I'm just doing it on the fly because I do know a lot, but I don't know that much in comparison to other people that have been doing this for their entire life. Yeah, but that's not me. I only been doing it here, so there's like a lot more like thinking I have to do than the average sewer compared to fashion designer compared to what you see here. Like it may just seem like I'm making it like that's like years of experience. So like don't. I did this almost every day for 3 years straight, so like think about it in that term, right? When you do something for 3 years straight almost every single day, which is a privilege to be able to do something like this. I don't know, but like crap, that's a lot. That's a lot. That's like you get really good at something though when you do that much, so that's like the best part about it. previously mentioned, yes, this is the side seam. Them I have to make sure there's enough on in the armpit area to make sure that all sews together. So I can't, like I said, fully search I mean, I search it, but I can't, do it from the seam allowance. So I have to make sure there's like slightly off the seam allowance to make sure there's enough to sew it together, all together. So there's like those little small details you have to think about for the next step. Like, it's like, it turns out just fine, but like, it could be nerve-wracking at times. Like, I take too much off, I take too little off. There's always a lot of dread that's constantly in your mind. Like, ooh, did I do it right? Did I do it wrong? Did I do it this? And it's like, yeah, like I did. Like, I know I'm doing somehow, and it worked out. But that's like the thing you have to always think about. There's little small details. No, it's nerve-wracking. Trust me, it is. And then, like, but as long as I've done it. As many times I have done it, it still feels odd at times. There's that sense of like, oh well, am I doing it right? Am I doing it wrong? Is this that? This? But yeah, like I did do it right. Anyways, thank you. Because this is a drop shoulder, I have to soap the side seams first. That's like the thing, like, the side seams are necessary for this kind of thing. Yeah, so I actually did enjoy drop shoulder, Hambach, as they say in Korea. What I based it off of. I do enjoy that. Actually, it's way easier to sew in something like a fitted sleeve and stuff like that. Because I'm just kind of like, not necessarily lazy, but like I don't want to make it super American. I wanted to make it more a culture that I love. So that's what it was based off of. I wear Hambach on occasion, but not like I actually sew one. So I don't actually. Well, I should say that's the one that I don't wear. But that like I have like, I don't know. I love Korea. Okay, that's all I have to say. So that's why all my garments are like based off of like these different things and what. But yeah, that's exactly always what you see every single time when I am sewing one of these. It's always based off of a Korean American like design and garments and stuff, and I do enjoy it a lot. And yeah, I don't know, it's way easier to sew. These don't need to take like 2 hours or something. So I don't know. I like making my projects as easy as possible, and I don't really give a damn what you think, because like I don't want to go around and so spend 8 hours on a single project. I'm sorry, I don't care that much, but I don't care that much to like do that, because I have I like to keep myself sane. If I had a then it would be a different story, but I don't. It's just me. Mentioned this is me doing the drop shoulder and making sure it surges properly with the proper seam allowance in between those surges. That was difficult and nerve-wracking, and it didn't have to be, but it chose it to be because it just felt that way at the time. And it constantly happens, like, to make sure everything's right and everything looks good and everything's perfect, so it doesn't fray away and doesn't do this. brain overload. Too much stuff going on. Make sure it's right. Make sure it look right. If you don't make sure it look wrong, it look bad. But if it looks good, so it hangs right. So it does this right. So it doesn't fray away. So the garment can last. So it does. So you can give it to your children or whatever you want to do with it. I don't even know. You have to do all that to make sure the garment looks right and looks good on the inside. Any difficult part, these are things that I'm always thinking about. These are the things I'm always doing all the time, constantly. Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate it. If you made it this far, I would like subscribe. But if you don't, that's also fine. I don't know how much you do. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed my glitchy audio. I'm doing this a bit on purpose now. I like to call it Avon glitch. It's just because I don't know. It's just so much a different turn of different from what you normally get from a video, and mind it. I think it's kind of fun. So I don't know. Maybe it's a terrible idea, but I don't really care. So I actually enjoy it. Hope you have a great day. Goodbye.